majority of the membership to move forward. Any questions?
Oh, no.
Thank you.
Dixie?
On the agenda tonight is the good neighbor policy, and I noticed on that, under number 5, it has short-term rentals and guests. And it's giving them instructions on what it is they need to follow. And I think that that section needs to be removed currently, since the board hasn't gotten to the point as to whether short-term rentals are going to be part of our township.
Name, address?
Amanda Morgan, Silver Lake Road. I was just curious if you believe that the recent planning commission meeting followed procedures of transparency. And given that short-term rentals were not on the agenda for tonight until 1 minute into the meeting, that you don't make any votes to push anything forward, like the planning commission did. And that possibly you invite robust public information. And invite everyone to be a part of that decision. There was a joint meeting in February where over 50 people attended that meeting from both sides, and everyone gave their opinion and people felt heard. And we were really given the reassurance that the township board would take action slowly, that they would research, and that all constituents would be taken into consideration in any vote moving forward. So I would just like your reassurance that that first promise is going to be met, and that the board is assuring transparency to the community moving forward. And what that transparency will be, whether that be possibly publishing the agenda minutes a couple days before instead of a couple hours before the meeting, and that items weren't added right at the meeting. I think that's part of the Open Meeting Act. I'm not sure, but I think this township has been sued once over an Open Meeting Act. I think you might know a little bit more about that, Mr. Spicer. I'm not familiar with that.
Fine.
Okay, so, I just wouldn't want the township to be put against another budget complication.
Thank you. That's why I wanted to add that item to the agenda.
Any other public comment? Karen?
That's similar, just I know that the budget approval is really the primary objective for tonight. And, I see that you did add the short-term rental. And I do believe that it's okay within Open Meetings Act to bring, matters to the table right at the time that the agenda is being approved. But it can give a bad
Perception.
yeah. So please, when you get to that item, please correct me if I'm mistaken. But it is my understanding that the short-term rental moratorium recommended by our township attorney was intended to prevent new short-term rental establishments and not intended as a final word on pre-existing short-term rental establishments. The moratorium wording may have been confusing, but it was just a temporary pause to prevent increasing the number of short-term rentals while studying the matter. The moratorium was set to expire at the end of May, but can be extended as the board is still in the information gathering stage. Property owners have been asked to weigh in on the topic, and many of the most impacted property owners will be more available for continued discussion between June and August. It would probably be best to extend the moratorium however long it takes to arrive at a thoughtful conclusion. Meanwhile, to my understanding, there is no enforcement expected against pre-existing establishments. And the resolution passed by the planning commission was not board sanctioned. The board of trustees, this group, has no obligation to accept planning commission recommendations. They are an advisory committee. And on a positive note, I see that a good neighbor policy had been submitted for consideration. Personally, I'd like to see the actual dates from the Michigan fireworks law included for clarity, if you adopt it. And on a different topic altogether, given the transitional changes going on within the ES department right now, I hope that Life EMS is reminded that they are still our primary medical service unless they're specifically called off by the Columbia Township responders. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Will there be time for public comment when we get to short-term rental, or do you want us all to speak now?
You should speak now. If we
Okay.
get into a discussion where we need more,
Okay,
the board would determine that we would ask more.
There are two opportunities for public comment though, at the beginning and at the end, both, so
Okay.
you can pick one or the other or both.
And on another hand, up here, when you're in public comment, we do not respond. We listen, take comment.
so Antonella Icabello, I'm on West Shore Drive. I wanted to talk about the economic impact that is brought up when we talk about short-term rentals. Not sure if everybody is aware, but there was an independent study that was conducted by Anderson Economic Group for Michigan Realtors. And it did find that short-term rental activity generated almost $1 billion in economic activity across 4 counties in Michigan. I can give a specific in Allegan County, am I saying that right? County alone, the total economic impact that came in from short-term rentals just in 2025 was $178 million and over 1,000 jobs. I think it was 1,113 jobs. So when I hear those kind of numbers about a town like that, which I think is pretty close to us, actually it's probably bigger. I just want to know that does the township have a firm understanding of the local impact that banning can cause the residents here in Columbia Township? You know, what other local industry do we have that's going to replace that type of activity for our residents that are depending on it? Our contractors, our landscapers, our, you know, the sewage pump, the septic tank pumps. I mean, there's so many businesses that are impacted, and it brings in 178 million in a county that is similar. That's gonna be similar, it's similar to us, and if you ban it, where are these people gonna go for these jobs? Like, we have to take that into considerations. That's.
So I was up in the back and I saw the sign, land the free, home of the brave, because of the brave.
Can we get your name, please?
Melissa Whitman, Silver Lake Road. And then I listened to the Pledge of Allegiance tonight, extra hard. I bought my cottages in September. Thrilled to share them. Worked hard, still working hard to make them beautiful. The prior 2 people to me, owners, have been short-term rental people, as I am too. And then I watched both the board meeting last month and the planning commission. And I couldn't believe what I heard. That 5 people could just dash people's dreams like that with no discussion. This all just started. And I would echo what Mandy and Karen said. There was supposed to be time here. No research has been done. It was a lot of personal opinion. To what I heard, fishing lines being cut by an unknown person that you don't know who they are. Then I started looking at who belonged to the boards and the planning commission, et cetera, and Ken is on the planning commission, the zoning board, the board of appeals, and the voting commission, and now the road commission. I'm not sure if that sounds somewhat like a dictator. And I don't know you, but I watched you vote against a lot of people's big dreams, expenditures. How is the board gonna safeguard one single person from skirting the oversight influence? And, I'd like to see a third-party review of the assessment practices to restore confidence in people that just moved here. Because if this is how it's going, I feel like we don't have any say at all. And you're not even gonna comment on my comments, Tony. And I get it, but I don't get it. And I live a long way away. I live 2.5 hours today. I've been up since 4:30 to come and give my opinion, my reason. And I'd like to be heard. And I think there's a lot of us here tonight that don't feel we were heard. Thank you, and I appreciate the opportunity to talk with all of you.
Anyone else?
Gary Block, North Lake. My concern, and I'm not sure how I feel on this, but my concern is enforcement. Where's the money coming from? Where's the allocation? How many people will be assigned to that position to police this? I've seen it on our lake. Bad stuff happens by people unintentionally, but it happens. They get stuck in the muck. We've had to save people that have done things because they don't know the lake. They're renting from someone, and it's that kind of thing. Also, the parties, the noise. As it is, we are the enforcers on our lake. And I want to make sure that that doesn't take place. I would need to see just a line item on the money that would come to support enforcement. And I honor people that have dreams, that do stuff, but we need to control it properly. Well, thank you.
I'm Brian Kraus, I'm on satellite on 384. And I guess as I look at this, zoning laws are very much about how a property is used, right? And residential zoning is about people living in a home. And when you look at a short-term rental, that is people living in a home. It's for a short amount of time, however, it might not be a long amount of time. And that's just a type of way to use a property. They're sleeping in there, they're cooking in there, they're living in there, and that's all great. It's not really, it's not retail, it's not manufacturing, it's not commercial. So there's an aspect of business in it, but it's still being used as a residence. Now, if all of a sudden you had a place subdivided and 300 people are living in the home, that's outside of residential usage, but that's not really the issue at hand. And we're starting to get into a very real slippery slope when you look at how your house is allowed to be used, because there's also a lot of other businesses that come out of the house. There's a lot of people that work from home that are teleworkers, might be a salesperson doing cybersecurity work for some company out of Silicon Valley. You might be a realtor. Maybe you're a drywaller running a business out of your home, a house cleaner. There's a lot of different kinds of businesses. And if all of a sudden we're gonna start to regulate, what you can actually do in your home, this starts to become a much bigger issue, and we're really getting into the idea of taking people's freedoms away. That they're not violating. They're using the home as a home. And you might not like how the world changes. I mean, lots of us don't like how the world changes, but it's gonna keep spinning. I mean, that's a thing. And we really gotta look at this and say, hey, are we being wise about it? Because we're not actually having a problem. Where the problems come, there's noise complaints problems. I hear people talk about septic systems. Well, we already got laws in place around that. I mean, there's a sheriff, there's a county health board that takes care of septic. We don't really need a double law on that, or else we're starting to just do regulation for the sake of regulation, and That's not a good thing. I mean, most of us don't want big government all over us. We wanna be able to have our freedoms, but do it in a respectful way, that we're being nice around people, and if there's a noise complaint. Call the sheriff, that's what they do. If you're worried about the septic system, you can always ask the county, the septic people, they come and pump these things. I heard a comment before of, oh, well, there is unacceptable levels of chemicals. That thing gets enforced by the person who's pumping the septic when he goes, got it, and brings that over to reclamation, and they say, hey, we're not taking it, you gotta go to Kalamazoo or Detroit or wherever, that will get rectified. So I think we gotta be careful with, how we regulate this.
Anyone else?
Well, I'll say something about it, Ken, anyhow, but listen, I mean, I understand these people, they did it for a business and everything, and I get it, I've got buildings and that, and all that kind of stuff, so I get it. And the problem isn't so much renting it to the people, it's who you're gonna have in there. Are they gonna be big parties? And people come up for the weekend or a week to rent a place, and like I say, by me, I don't have that problem, I don't have no rentals near me. So I kind of get to see both sides, and I think it's a really hard decision for you to make. Because if you knew every weekend you were gonna have, like you say, people live there and live like, you know, nice people and they're quiet and everything like that, and enjoy the lake, that's fine. But when you're gonna get, you don't know who you're really renting to, they come in there, they have big parties, they're loud, they're bothering their neighbors next door, they're going on their property, then it comes a problem. So it's kind of like a juggling effect, what you should do and not do. If you got good people, it's great. If you don't, then you got problems.
I think the second comment or no?
You're only one.
Oh, it is one comment? You joking or you serious?
Well, if you're gonna keep talking to me, make it quick.
Okay, I was gonna say, most people with their houses don't want people partying at their houses.
No, I.
That's not like my mind,
Yeah.
and gonna end that real quick. Not that it doesn't happen.
You got your point across.
I did.
Anyone else?
Janice Havas, local address on County Road 384, Saddle Lake. I hear concerns about enforcement, and I think enforcement is a valid concern. So if there's a ban, there are enforcement issues, right? If there is a regulation or an ordinance in place, there are enforcement issues. If you do nothing, there are still enforcement issues because people are still going to complain. The only logical, reasonable solution that has been presented was a registration where owners pay a fee to go toward the cost of enforcement. It has been brought up numerous times, and I think the planning commission could have potentially recommended that, but the vote was pushed through very quickly last week. And I think people felt like they had to vote a certain way. The ordinance was not unreasonable, it was being worked through, and now that has halted since the planning commission had to make an official vote on their recommendation to you. So I hope that when you guys are revisiting this issue, you can consider all of that going forward.
Mike Baker, West Shore Drive. Don't know if you guys received this on an email or not, but this is a letter from an attorney that represents all of the single or the short-term rental property owners, stating all of the different things that she specializes in and going over. And then going back to your comment, when we rent to anybody that comes through an Airbnb or the VRBO, my wife does all of that and she vets everybody. So she goes through and she makes sure that these people that are coming in have ratings of a 4-star or better and don't have any complaints against them. Because when you rent to somebody, you can rate what they did to your property or what they didn't do to your property and say that they're good renters or they paid on time. They didn't leave a mess, they weren't loud, they didn't party. And we go through a very, we do our due diligence and when we're renting when we're renting our property, so.
Anyone else? Okay, then. We're gonna go to consent agenda. Meetings from the previous minute, special board meeting, March 4th, 2025. Any questions on that? Or any updates to the meeting minutes that we need to make? Accounts payable, everyone look at our accounts payable, March 2026. Gary, any questions, comments?
No, I did have some questions, but I clarified them, so okay.
Okay, payroll? Anyone on payroll? You got the February 2026 statement. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Jason made a motion. Can I get a second? Gary? Well, this is a money thing. Roll call vote. Jason?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
Kenzie, yes. Carr?
Yeah.
Yes. Done. Information reports. Diane was not gonna be able to make it today.
Was she supposed to be here?
She was gonna come and give a presentation on senior services. She's gonna move it to April, I believe. Fire department?
A lot of new face here. My name's John. I'm your fire chief. Township. Not a big report. We've been slowly but surely working our way through the damage from Station 1. Heater failure in January. Ken's been down there. He helped him out with scaffolding and taking down the blown out PVC that lined the outskirts of the station up in the air.
Dixie, help me.
Yep, Dixie, thank you. 27-22, I found out earlier this week that it is good to go, just the tech hadn't been in, his son was sick. But I'm kind of waiting to find out when it won't be in your way as well. They don't have a problem with it being there, so as long as I can get a little.
Plumbing should be done tomorrow.
Okay. All right.
They had a
Thursday.
problem today with some parts that didn't show up that they were expecting.
Okay.
The heater is sitting in place and gassed up, but no water yet.
We lost all active potable water. We also filled our trucks there, but that wasn't damaged, but yeah, we had no plumbing to speak of the rest of the way around. I've never seen anything. Yeah, the truck did go through a full pump recertification. It has passed all of its tests. As far as old truck can do with some new seals and some lubricant. So, but yeah, like I said, just kind of holding her on, right there. We had a building inspector come through. Is that that's his literal title, building inspector? Okay. He checked out Station 2. He's waiting for 1 to be back in service before he comes back and gets that to look over. He analyzed the HVAC, the electrical, different things that need to be touched up here and there. He took a look at the roof. The exterior, took a lot of pictures. He was there a couple hours. Honestly, it was a lot more in depth than I thought it would be. We had 16 EMS calls and 6 fire calls in February. The running total currently is 73. We've had a pretty good uptake in the last week, so. But other than that, that's where we're at.
Thank you.
Thank you. Deputy Sheriff.
63 total calls for the month of February. The majority of those being just general traffic stops or general assist complaints. But like the fire department, we have seen a pretty big uptick in calls in the township in the last 2 weeks here in March. So March's numbers will probably be a little bit higher than previous years, and especially February being it's a short month. So.
No county road commissioner.
There is one thing that Jeremy didn't touch on, but he's written a citation on one of the problem issues that we have. There'll be another citation written here shortly. I just got notice from our attorneys that that's gonna be scheduled for a hearing in court at South Haven District West with Judge Clark, and that would be the first part of April. The court docket hasn't been plugged in yet, the time frame. But anyway.
Yep, I got an email from the attorney as well that it's gonna be, they're gonna give me the proper date when
Okay.
it's scheduled to the court docket.
Anyway, we're moving as quick as we can on those. When it gets into court, we have to wait for the docket time. Unfortunately.
Road commissioner,
Can I just back up one place here when we were talking about the different reports? Unless we're not down, I'm sorry, I'm ahead of myself. Go ahead.
Eric, before we jump on, just for clarification, or those citation of the report, is that the blight type
We don't
stuff?
get to do this. We're not supposed to have conversation during the meeting.
Yeah, right. Sorry.
Sorry.
Point of order. Sorry.
Jesus, it's okay.
Huh?
You-
We're on G6.
It's a different dates.
Yeah, she emailed that.
Okay,
I submitted a report from our meeting, which kind of confirms what has largely been already said. And then in addition to that, I have a copy of the good neighbor policy with me and copies if you are going to talk about it tonight. If you have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer them. And I'll probably chime in when we get into longer conversation about short-term rentals.
The only thing I had on the good neighbor policy, which is still in the process with everything else. The only comment I have is on number one, the quiet and respect title. You've got the time frame on there from quiet time from 10 PM to 8 AM. Typically, you can do that, but typically 7 AM is when contractors start and everything, and if typically 7 o'clock in the morning is when you can start hearing saws and whatever, okay?
Whatever your consensus is. on it.
Just a comment. The other thing is in number 5 with the rentals and the guests. I didn't see anything in the good neighbor policy about having your pets on a leash while they're outside. So that might be something to consider to maybe put in that as well. That's all I have.
Emergency services. Consider the recommendation of Cole Newcastle for a position with the fire department. John?
That
What
Nicole?
position?
Cole Newcastle,
firefighter,
EMS too?
what's the starting rate per hour
he
for him?
The lowest rate.
16, I believe.
Okay.
He's got, we have a base. And then he has both his licenses already, he's already certified.
Has she been in another department or is she right out of school?
Cole was through, Madeline.
She live in Matawan?
He's the boy.
Okay, I heard Cole Newcastle, I feel like we're talking about a different
Yeah,
person.
it's Cole. He's a man.
It's Cole.
He's a man.
Oh,
Yes. Cole is a male.
okay.
That doesn't matter.
What was his title? Firefighter
He's firefighter, EMR.
EMA.
Yeah, firefighter too.
So he's from Matawan, but he'll be responding
Yeah, he's already started doing ride-alongs, so he's been in the area a couple times already. So.
I'll make a motion that we hire Cole Newcastle starting at $16 an hour.
On call?
Yep.
That's what they scale.
So it's the on-call.
Got a motion and a second to hire and roll call vote. Mary,
Yes.
Gary,
Yes.
Kenzie, yes.
Was Gary the second officially?
Second.
Yeah,
Oh, I know. I thought I didn't second
I
anything.
thought you seconded.
I'll second.
Okay, then we got someone else second. Carr. We'll start this over. Mary,
Yes.
Cara?
Yeah.
Kenzie, yes. Jason,
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
Unfinished business, we've already discussed the proposed amendment to fiscal year 25-26 during the public hearing. Does the township board members have any additional questions or concern? No, can I get a motion to approve the budget amendment resolution? I have a number for it.
Resolution number would be what?
Be 10.
6-010.
10?
10. Can I get a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Jason made a motion. Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
Mary made a second. This is the money. Roll call vote. Jason,
Yes.
Mary,
Yes.
Gary,
Yes.
Ken is a yes. Cara?
Yeah.
Yes. We have already gone through the fiscal year 26-27 budget. Is there any township boards comments or questions on the budget amendment?
No,
No. Can I get a motion to approve the fiscal year 26-27 budget resolution?
So moved.
Is that number 11?
Yeah.
Number 11. Gary made the motion. Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
Mary seconded. Roll call vote. Gary?
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
Kenzie, yes. Cara?
Yeah.
Yes. Jason?
Yes.
Yes. Next thing on the agenda is the proposed renewal of North Lake Special Assessment District for a period of 2027 to 2036. The proposed assessment rate would be $950 per year per lakefront property owner within the district. The special would continue funding lake-related services and maintenance as previously established by the township. The renewal process requires adoption of a resolution initiating the special procedures and scheduling the public hearing. So basically what we have here is a resolution that discuss the process that we have to go through. It lists the property owners that provided a petition. It gives that there are over 50% of the property owners would like this. It also provides a mailing list that ties in with our taxes as our legal address to receive mailing. And then it gives a description of the budget as seen over the next 10 years, starting in 2027. And then what it does is it sets when we will hold that hearing, which will be before our next township board meeting in April, starting at I think it's 6:30, right?
6:30, April
6:30. And I know that we've heard some concerns tonight, Gail. I would ask you to look into the aeration, kind of just, and your budget with the aeration, and give us some feedback.
Would you like it now?
No, I'd like it in kind of in a document that we all can receive and be able to.
Be happy to share it with you. We've got the signs.
But just get us something on that. There's a question on it. And with that, anyone have any comments on the, well,
Do we have?
let's
to
get
make
a motion first. Motion to approve the North Lake Saddle Resolution.
We talk now, Ken, or we?
No.
No. You got a number? 12,
It's gonna be 12.
number 12. Can I get a motion?
I'll move to accept the resolution 2026-12 regarding North Lake Aquatic Plant Control and Special Assessment.
Gary made a motion. Can we get a second?
Quick question for the clerk. They've filed all the correct things, correct, you know?
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, with everything, it's all that's in here. And so the next step would be like, I'd have to notice it and then the whole.
I just want to make sure we are on track for all that. I'll second the motion.
Jason, second the motion, discussion.
I do have some discussion. Gail, with all due respect, 950 as a tax, I collected all the taxes this year. The highest any other lake is 299. This is a very big financial burden for people on that lake. I had people come in very upset about what they were paying, which was less than this. And they also got a new drain that they're being charged for, which I know you don't have any control over that. This seems very, it seems way too expensive for the people on that lake.
The condition of our lake is such, we're the shallowest lake in the county.
Mhm.
And, Mr. Parman, the drain commissioner, forwarded a really great email to the people that were questioning, indicating, that, as Bob brought up, the drain is separate, it's controlled by the commission, but our lake is shallow. And it's at the most 20 feet deep. And the environmental factors, and you know, with the fire department and the brush fires, we experienced droughts like we did last year. And the aeration is expensive, but it reduces the muck and gives us more boating ability.
How long have you been doing the area?
We've been doing it since 2000. We were 2017. We've been doing it for 10 years, but.
And is there a report that shows how much that's helped in 10 years?
I have copious reports, and that's what Ken just requested. I had to, show you the pH, the effect on the fishery, the clarity of the lake. It's all the science, and it's expensive. And the testing,
But it's not working.
Pardon?
But it's not working?
We feel it is. We feel it is. I mean, this is an opinion that you hear. That it's
Well,
not working.
I did hear people coming in and talking to me about the expense. So my fear is, yeah. So
Yeah,
we're
I
pricing
agree.
people off the lake because not only do they have big tax bills, but we're now raising, it just 950, I'm gonna go on record, that seems extreme to me.
Ours is a very small, shallow lake, and we have worked with Derek Harrelson from Eagle, and when you see the jump in figures, that is all the testing requirements for aeration and the science involved. And we feel if we didn't do it, it would be a swamp.
How long, people have lived on North Lake for how long?
Pardon me?
How long have people lived on North Lake?
How long I've been on North Lake? I'm a family, we've been here since the 40s, 1940s.
Yeah.
And it's never been a swamp?
No, years ago, we would just harvest them.
Okay.
Well, then these people came up and they wanted new people came up and most of them, from Chicago, then they wanted to go with this aeration thing, which everyone in the beginning thought, okay, well, we'll see what happens. Well, since it's been there now, it's been down there 8 years now, and the only thing that they do, they push it away a little bit, the muck.
Right.
You shut it off, it comes right
Okay,
back.
I just wanted to make sure it wasn't a swamp for 40
Not-
years.
not-
Well, I think that,
The other thing is, I was on this board when Saddle Lake removed aeration. And that wasn't that long ago, because it didn't work. So I guess all I'm saying is, I think it's a financial burden for the people on the lake. 51% of the people want it, what about the other 49? They just have to pay it, or do you guys have a
If
fund to
they-
help them?
that's the law. If you have the majority,
It's true.
okay,
it goes.
Okay.
I'm just gonna bring up a couple things that were mentioned about Saddle Lake. Originally, that one area in the west basin was a test area,
Yes.
and it was in there for 2 or 3 years, and I asked the board at that time, is it working?
Mhm.
I wasn't on the board, and nobody had any figure. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna get a muck reader,
Mhm.
okay? And I went out and I got the same coordinates and I went in the test area and I took readings of the water and the muck levels. And in the 4 years that I did that, the muck did go down in that area.
We've got
Now,
science.
now.
about it.
The other thing is that it appears, because I took readings where the aeration wasn't accessible or where we didn't have it. It appeared that in those areas, which was next to the outlet, the muck was higher.
Yeah.
But it was making its way to the outlets, what was happening.
Oh.
Okay, now, the other point I have is that 950 or whatever it is, that does sound expensive.
Yeah.
However, Saddle Lake has 220 people.
Yeah.
We have a lot more property owners, so the amount that cost is spread over a larger area. It was taken out because in order to actually have it benefit our lake, we would have had to put in 4 more or 5 more systems,
And you get,
and it was not affordable.
it wouldn't be, and we have 56 parcels
And-
on our lake.
North Lake's a small lake, so they don't spread it among more property owners.
Right.
That's my only 2 comments.
Well, since, I mean, we're talking back and forth here now, so I think I should be able to talk. I believe the only thing Dale is right about is.
We got a point of order right now. We have to point of order. I just opened the discussion.
I mean,
The board is able to discuss. I have to stop you right now.
okay,
Sorry, Bob.
Okay.
And we need to vote. The board said what they had to say.
There's no other discussion.
So passing this just opens the process or is this,
This is only setting up the hearing, at which point public hearing would be held
okay,
where they can come in to do that.
okay, and then after that,
Then after that, it will be after you have your public hearing, you're gonna vote
okay.
to do the assessment.
Yeah, I also wanted to clarify that language because the way that the resolution is written is it's just initiating the renewal. And so we are starting the process. We are not officially this vote right now is not
There's
the
not a
full
vote
assessment.
at all.
Correct.
You
Okay.
need the public hearing, they have to be noticed, public hearing. And then you'll listen to the public hearing. Gail, the fee is quite high,
Mhm.
and I would ask you to take a good look at that to see what you could do to reduce it. Gary's right, we are around the 250, right, Gary?
299.
250 or something?
299.
299, and I can only imagine what a $950 to.
It is a lot, but
It is.
we have a small lake, few people and great needs, we're shallow. The impact of climate on our lake has been extreme with the droughts and
Yep, we're gonna go ahead and got a motion, we have a second, it's money, Gary?
It's not money.
We're
Is
just
it?
voting.
No, it's a hearing.
It's a hearing.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oh, we gotta have a recorded vote. Resolution required. Doesn't it? Well,
So do we have to have a resolution to have a
Yes.
public hearing?
yes,
Which costs money.
It's
so we're back to roll call. Gary,
Is this a sad? Okay.
Jason,
Yes.
Carl,
Yes,
Ken is a yes, Mary.
No.
That takes care of that. Short-term rental. Jason?
Yeah, thank you. I want to first make a few comments and then I potentially have maybe some questions for either the board or maybe members of the planning commission that are here. I want to try to bring some degree of clarity to this issue because of what a lot of people have noted already in public comments. let me start with saying the short-term rental issue is very complex. We've said this before. For all the reasons mentioned here by many different people, and a lot more, candidly, the issue is very complex. I mean, I heard somebody talk about, you know, business investment and livelihood and things like that, and that's all true. It's also true that we've had residents bitten by dogs owned by short-term renters. So, and both of those are just different ends of the spectrum. I mean, and there's everything in between. It's been noted that our township ordinances, some of them are confusing in the way that they're written. We're working on that diligently. We've been working on that for a few years. So all that to say, I thank you for everybody that's here. I thank you for all the input we've gotten from this issue. And I just want to make sure that it's clear that I'm going to try to speak for the board. So if anybody has any issues with what I say, please speak up. But we're taking this very seriously. And we're trying to follow a good process to arrive at whatever decision we need to arrive at. The point of clarity that I guess I want to say is that the resolution, the action taken by the Planning Commission last week, in my opinion, and this is maybe where the board can chime in a minute in terms of discussion, does not reflect the position or the actions of this board. I'm going to rewind the tape a little bit back to when we passed the moratorium. The spirit of the moratorium was to pause any activity on this issue as best we could. There was even debate about whether that was the best way to do it, but we got legal counsel on that. We passed a moratorium in order to give us some time to adequately research this issue, to really consider all the legal angles, to consider what has historically been allowed in our township, whether it's inadvertently or inadvertently, and to frankly consider what is the best path forward that most benefits our township as a whole. We knew that was going to be a large endeavor. We knew it was going to take some time, which is why we said, we're going to start with a moratorium, and a moratorium that's not only 6 months, but could be extended if we need it to be extended. So if any of you were here at that meeting when we passed the moratorium, there was immediately following that a motion to ban short-term rentals. Immediately after that, that was not taken up by the board because that was not in the spirit of what we had just passed and what we had just agreed to do. And since that time, I think we have made a very, very diligent and good faith effort to try to understand this issue, to try to look back at what has happened, and how we arrived at where we are, as well as a lot of research of what's going on around us on this issue. Some of you were here in February. We had a joint session with the Planning Commission and the board where we had asked the Planning Commission, and it was chaired by Kate. They did a fantastic job talking to several townships around us, presented a slide presentation with pros and cons, which is all part of this process we're trying to follow to arrive at the best decision. And at that time, there was no discussion from the board. We didn't take the issue up to make a decision at that time because I think, in my mind at least, curious what everybody else thinks, there was still more work to do on the issue to understand it and research it and hear from our residents. At our last board meeting, we also voted to send out a survey, which some of you may have received. I mean, that was part of our research. So I guess, Mary, you kind of spearheaded that. If you have any information on that, that might be relevant to talk about now. I don't know, but in our discussion, if that's relevant, but I bring that up to just say the board continues to take steps to try to dig into this issue and understand it and hear from residents. And I was surprised that the resolution came before the Planning Commission last week as a board member, because I was under the impression that we as a board were in the phase of researching this. And if I look at the notes from the meeting, it appears that the resolution was proposed by Supervisor Spicer. Looks like it passed on a 3-2 vote, which is obviously not a unanimous vote. So there was some discussion there. And I see in the minutes from the Planning Commission report that there was some public comment about questions of conflict of interest. So I want to go on record to all the people here saying that I'm not sure why that happened at the Planning Commission level. I will speak to this. I'll just try to address a couple things that were said. Legally, agendas are allowed to be changed at the last minute. I mean, it is kind of, that's just true. Is it in best form? Probably not. In particular on a hot topic issue like this, probably especially not. It is difficult to get an agenda together, and I respect all the time that it takes to do that. Sometimes you have to add things at the last minute. This one is a little bit of a head scratcher to me though, especially given that the board did not give the Planning Commission that directive whatsoever. And the Planning Commission is allowed to pass suggestions up to the Township Board. That's part of the process as well. But I don't understand, especially given the joint work that has been done, why that happened. And I want to be clear, unless something's changed with my colleagues up here on the board, that does not seem reflective of the stance we've taken on this issue. And it's not reflective of where we are in the process. And I want to say that at least, I believe others on this board are doing the same, are trying to have the most transparent process possible. And just because this resolution was passed at the Planning Commission level, it's a recommendation, doesn't mean anything. Any changes to the short-term rental situation in Columbia Township have to be voted here. And I'm making a commitment that will be, the process will be diligently pursued to have public hearings appropriate as required and include as many residents' opinions as possible. So having said that, I don't know if I want to go to the PC and say what happened, but that's kind of what I want to do. What happened?
I think we watched it didn't everybody watch the video?
I did not watch the video, but I was just going off of the report.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you, you should be a diplomat. Because I'm gonna be pretty blunt. I'm not a happy camper that was done. Okay? As far as I'm concerned, that just told the public or inferred to the public that we have already made a choice and a decision without gathering all the information.
Inferred for
And
sure.
I don't think it was done correctly. I'm totally opposed of it. And I believe that we haven't even started to get this information back from the surveys. Oh, we've got a few. But
We do have some surveys that get looked at.
Okay, we have a few. It's just that you might tell by my tone of voice, I'm not a happy camper right now. And I don't like being put in a position that this board has been put in, including myself, that we may be doing something that's not relatively open to the public. That is not the case at all. So I think that what Jason said, he talks a lot and he's more diplomatic than I am. I'm kind of a to the point guy. I guess it's because of my background of being a cop. I don't know. But anyway, we are still pursuing this in a diligent way, getting as much information as we can. Chair of the PC and myself have visited a couple of different townships to get a lot of good information. And we're we're going through that. So we are trying to pursue this in the best way for our taxpayers and our STR people. And all of our township.
I'd like a little clarification. Because when we started this, the planning commission wanted the board to make the decision because it was a police order. And they kind of wanted to move that up. So now the way I looked at that, and I did listen to the meeting. Now it's in the board's hands. Now we can make the decisions, not me, but we can make the decisions. And now the planning commission can work on some other things. That's the way I took it.
The whole intent of that resolution was to let the township board know that a police ordinance belongs with them, not the planning commission. What we gave you was how our planning commission is written today. We took out of the planning commission, the rules and regulations that we have. We presented that. We presented the information that told you that our zoning orders doesn't allow it. That the township board needs to make an ordinance, a police ordinance, and it's in your hands. We don't want it down in the planning commission. It doesn't belong there.
You're
We
right.
don't write police ordinances.
You're right.
And we're spending way too much time trying to write the police ordinance for you and provide data for you on writing the police ordinance. So what the best thing to do is tell you that our laws, our rules currently do not allow this. Businesses are not allowed in the residential district. It's telling you that, and it's telling you it's yours. You've got a moratorium and it belongs with the township board. And this is what we would recommend you do. But that's just a recommendation. You can do whatever you want up here. We don't write police ordinances. We shouldn't be doing it down there. We went and wrote the ordinance for you. I wrote the ordinance for you. And then I got it approved by the town. So we did what you asked us. We shouldn't ask any more of the planning commission because it's not their duty. It's the township board's duty to write the police ordinance, not them.
That's
And
fine.
the planning and the board isn't in a hurry. I mean, we've got the moratorium.
You got the
We're
moratorium.
just starting to collect the data. It's gonna take a minute. This isn't gonna be a,
This has been on the agenda and since August, it's been on every meeting, including tonight now. Every meeting, whether it be the planning commission or the township board, it's been on it. In January, I tried to get it on the agenda. I was told I couldn't put it on the agenda. So that resolution couldn't be put on the agenda to put it back to the township where it belongs.
Oh, okay,
You got the responsibility to do that police ordinance, not the planning commission.
okay.
And you got it too. So
We already know this, Ken. I mean, that
well, then
was,
do it.
well, wait a second. I have a couple questions for you. Is it not true? I'm reading this from the minutes and maybe I'll ask the chair.
You got
The
the narrative,
resolution-
the chair makes the narrative of the meeting minutes.
The resolution by Supervisor Spicer recommending the township board ban short-term rentals. Is that accurate?
That's correct.
So,
And the thing that I'll add to it, in the experience that the board had, when you first passed the moratorium, followed immediately after that, with a request by the supervisor to ban short-term rentals and your reaction to that, that has happened in the planning commission 3 times
yes.
between
So-
October and now.
So I have a follow-up question then. If it is true that the supervisor brought the recommendation that the board ban short-term rentals. Second question is, as ex officio to our planning commission, Ken, are you or are you not supposed to represent this township board to the planning commission?
I represent the planning commission at that thing, and I recommend the township board book too. But my recommendation is to give it to the township board to do their job.
The township board already had the issue. This is important to clarify. As ex officio member of the planning commission, your role is to represent this board on the planning commission. Is it? In
And I am
recommending,
representing the
in
board when I tell
recommending
them
that,
it's a police ordinance.
let me,
It's a police.
we're not
ordinance.
talking about the police ordinance.
Yes, we are. That's what that's all about.
I'm reading your
Did you read the
resolution.
resolution?
Of course I did, and it's saying The resolution recommends that the board ban short-term rentals, and my question is, if you are to represent our board, which was in the process of understanding this issue, but you proposed at the planning commission level that we ban short-term rentals, are you accurately representing the board on the planning commission? Yes or no?
It's hard to tell. You don't know what the township board has decided at this point, and they shouldn't have a decision.
We haven't decided anything. We are researching this and
You're
you are
researching.
recommending that we ban them.
I mean, the planning commission is recommending that you.
The resolution to the planning commission,
I did.
Chair, you did.
If you ban them, you don't need police ordinance at all.
I think it's enough
You can't
said.
ban it. You need an ordinance. Don't you get it? You gotta get your ordinance put together. Then you come to the planning commission, say, here, we got this ordinance, we wanna add short-term rentals in this section of the zoning ordinance, and then we go do it. And then we would add all that stuff that you want, the noise, the police, all the stuff that you need.
Okay, this is.
I'll just say this. I'll try not to be diplomatic, Gary. I'll be straight to the point. Okay? As this board is still in the process of evaluating this issue, Ken, you should not be recommending to the planning commission that we ban short-term rentals because that is not the position of the board. And you are to represent the board at the planning commission.
Here, here. You're here.
And that is not, I'm not picking a side on the issue either. I'm just saying process. Process matters, and we are not following the process. Ken.
Understand.
Our attorney says if you follow the process, you don't have to worry about anything. Well, then we'll follow the process.
Thank you.
I'm good.
Any more? Guys feel better?
Feel better that other people know what's going on.
It's been out there for a long time.
Let's go to J1.
J1. Memorandum of Understanding between Columbia Township and Van Buren County Conservation District. Gary?
This is the same memorandum of understanding set forth by the Conservation District that we participate in the tire recycling with no cost to us. This says that we will be one of the transfer stations in the county that will accept tires. And then the Conservation District will come in and take them away and recycle them. We're getting a lot of benefits from this because we don't have to go around picking up tires out of the ditches and the roads and everything. We can bring in, people can bring in 10 tires at a time. The Conservation District is also working on getting us a container, shipping container to put these tires in. This is the same thing that we had last year. There's no money involved. It simply has to be signed by the chairperson, which is Ken, and sent back to the Conservation District manager, who is Kelly Marshall. This is all in conjunction with Eagle standards for the collection of tires. So if there's no other comments on this, I would recommend that we go ahead and adopt this as we did last year.
Second?
That'll be a motion.
Second? I'll second it. Gary? No discussion.
So there's no cost with loading or unloading the tires?
No,
Yeah.
Okay.
they do it all.
Gary? Yes?
Yeah, there's no money.
Oh, there's no money. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Public comment. Dixie?
Well, if I remember correctly, what the board asked the planning commission to do was to make a recommendation. The planning commission made a recommendation regarding short-term rentals and sent it back to the board. I don't understand why we have to have all of this infighting going on amongst this board. Where basically the procedure that occurred, if I understand correctly, is what exactly happened. Maybe it didn't occur as you had hoped it would, but I don't see anything procedurally wrong with the procedure that did occur. And as Mary said, she thought that the board was, the planning commission was passing it back to the board as the board asked the planning commission to make a recommendation, which they did. So now they can move on to other items.
Mario?
August 10272 51st Street. Since we had so many comments for short-term rentals, and I figure it's only fair that I make a comment as well. Members of the board, I want to be clear that I support property rights and limited government. But what we are discussing here is not a personal residential use. It is commercial business activity operating in residential neighborhoods, and that distinction matters. Under current zoning ordinance, that type of use is not prohibited. Michigan case law has also recognized that short-term rentals can be considered motel type uses, which falls outside residential zoning. As I understand, even the Township Legal Counsel has confirmed that short-term rentals are not permitted under the current zoning. Zoning decisions should be based on long-term community impact, not individual situation or personal circumstances. Those rules must apply consistently to everyone. And while all input can be heard, board responsibility is to the residents of this township, the people who live here full-time and are directly affected. I also want to briefly address the Anderson Economic Group study. That research was done in large tourism-driven counties where short-term rentals are already part of the system. Columbia Township is not that type of community. It's a rural area. We are a small primary rural township with limited infrastructure. The conclusion from that study do not translate here. In rural township like ours, even small increase of short-term rentals can have disproportionate impact. This is also a practical issue. The township does not have resources to effectively regulate and enforce short-term rentals. In reality, enforcement falls to the neighbors, not the township, creating conflict and ongoing problems. We have already seen the impacts: trespassing, noise, garbage, safety concerns. Those are not hypothetical. Those are already happening. Allowing this type of use would change the character of residential neighborhoods and create issues that are difficult, if not possible, to reverse. I respectfully ask the board to maintain the current zoning and not allow short-term rentals. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Decide, Bob.
Well, back to the Northwick again. Listen, Gary, I know what you were saying about it, but I'm gonna tell you, if I pump out muck by me, the muck seeks its own level. So you could go to the same spot and measure it, but if someone pumped muck out over there or harvested out of there, that muck changes. So like you said, the drainage was high over there. So it can be from the bubblers blowing it or something like that. That's so when you said you do to one area, that muck moves. So it's not stable, it's not hard, it's muck. And the only thing I think me and Gail have on the same pages is the water level has to be higher. And in order to do that, you have to go through the rinks to do it. Now, I'm spending all this money on these bubblers, which the commissioner guy said he would come here anytime I want to and explain to the people what's going on. And he told me point blank, I asked him about the muckers, he said they took them off every lake, so they do not work. And so it comes to the point where you have to do the right thing. The water level has to come up. The people, and including Gail, she can't even get her boat by her pier. So you got 8 years, 9 years of using these bubblers. And they're supposed to be the magic thing, and you still can't even get your boat by your pier because it's so muck bound there. So muck's a big problem there. And in order to get it where your boats can go more, you have to bring that water table up. If you can bring it up 6 to 8 inches, you're gonna have more water in there. And that causes a big problem. And the same thing what you were saying, $950 That's more than anyone's paying. And the drain commissioner said the same thing. So that's, I never heard of that high. So. And I did talk to some people today, because I just found out about this whole thing 2 days ago. So, and I talked to about a half a dozen people that already signed it. And I just only hearsay, they said that they'll change, because I feel we should go after the water table. We should go after harvesting. And we should do spraying when needed, because when you spray, you kill the weeds. The weeds either go to someone's property or they go down and they create more muck. And all the money we spent in the last 8 years to get rid of this muck, and you still, Gail, and you know it, you can't even get your boat to your shore. And I know last year was a big drought. Hey, you can't even get your boat to shore. It's a big thing. And it's a problem, and the lake is low. And what's gonna solve it? Go through the commission, go through the ranks, spend the money that you spend on these bubbers, get to the state and get the water where they raise the table.
Yeah, thank you.
3.5.
Okay, Gail,
Okay, 3 minutes.
I got it started.
Time.
I bet you will be, give me a timer going. Let me just say that our system, the aeration was designed for a lake in the center for everyone to be able to enjoy that. It has always been our position that your lakefront property is your responsibility. And, we had an extreme drought last year, and a lot of people suffered from it. But the thing is, you are responsible, in our view, as the association, to take care of your own lake. And if, you know, you do what you have to do, harvesting, like Bob said, the stuff just drops to the bottom. Or weed spraying drops to the bottom. We prefer not to use chemicals. Some harvesting is necessary. And I would also add, I've got all the science, I'll send it to each and every one of you. Tons of data that will show that the muck has become more, it is reduced, and it is also, the lake bottom has become harder. I mean, we can show you that in the studies. We will start our, we're using the data from last year for this year, and everything depends on what the data says, whether Eagle will approve our use of aeration. I mean, we assume they will, but maybe not. And we will visit that when we get the results from that. And every 5 years, we have to go through the same very expensive process. And it's expensive because we're little, we're shallow, and we only have 56 people chipping in. And that's what it comes out to.
When you walk on our lake, you're gonna drown in out.
We gotta keep
Yeah.
order here.
Because, I know that there's people on both sides of the table, about short-term rentals. And I have a neighbor, I have a bad neighbor. They burn garbage. Their dogs bark at me every time I come home. This is a permanent neighbor. They have parties every weekend. They have 5 cars and 2 parking spots. I take care of their lawn. I mow their lawn. I rake their lawn. Because I want a nice neighborhood. But they're permanent. And they're every day. All I can wait for is for them to sell. There's a couple real estate agents in this room, and we all know no one's selling in Columbia Township right now because of this big problem. So if you own property in Columbia Township right now, all realtors are saying, don't do it. Go to a different township right now. There's a big hot topic on the Township Board. So don't buy there. I would love those beautiful words that a short-term renter purchased the home next door, and they would take care of the yard, And if there was a party, or if there was a dog, or if there was some weed, which I also deal with every single day, it would be short term. I would love that. That's it.
So let's go to the center and then we'll come up that way. Kate?
Honestly, mine is, I just have, I don't think you can answer my question, but I've had several comments on the good neighbor policy. I took notes. It's already been through the planning commission. Do you want to give me some direction on this? Should I just make the changes and give it back to Kara and then you can decide what you want to do with it? Thinking was, I thought that we might include it, Mary, we talked about this at the last meeting, possibly in the summer taxes, so we have plenty of time.
We've got
Tell me how you want me to handle this.
Yeah, why don't you make the corrections, send them to Kara, and then we'll get it ready.
So that'll go on our
It'll go
April
with it
agenda.
if it's ready by then.
Yeah.
Over here, we'll just go right down the rows and then through the back rows till we're done.
Okay, sorry, I didn't think I was going to speak again, but you brought up some good points, Mario, but I want to dispel some of those myths. Renting lake homes does not change up the makeup of the neighborhood. People have been renting on these lakes for decades, well before you ever owned a property. Allegheny County, what we compared in that study, is not comparable to Columbia Township. You're right. It would be comparable to Van Buren County. Van Buren County is very comparable to Allegheny County because we have lakeshore, we have inland lakes, and we have poor rural communities, which is what we're in right now. And referring to the zoning is clear, especially for R2. It's very clear, crystal clear. Residential, resort, and enterprise activity. That's what is allowed in our zone. All of these people that are talking about short-term rentals on lakes, they are R2, residential, resort, enterprises. It can't get any clearer than that. Second, third, fourth, whatever it is now. Your petition to the residents, Mario, I'm sorry, was misleading. Your petition was titled to enforce a ban that Columbia Township has on short-term rentals. There is no ban on short-term rentals. Short-term rentals doesn't even exist in any language other than the agendas for these board meetings and planning commission meetings.
Point of order
There is not a ban
to the board.
on short-term rentals. I'm sorry, I'll direct my face to you. There is no existing ban on short-term rentals to be enforced. The people who signed that petition were not fully understanding what they were signing. I would argue that I could go to every single person on that petition and use different words, such as, would you support an ordinance that enforces rules for short-term rentals? And I bet they would all sign it, except for maybe a couple. The end. Thank you.
I just wanted to thank Jason and Gary for your transparency. That's all that we're looking for right now. Be fair and listen to us. I watched the planning commission, which I think Kate did a great job. And you were bullied. And I don't back down to bullies. Your agenda was very clear, ban. That's not a recommendation. That's a vote on banning. There's very different words. Why vote then? Just say our recommendation is, we just want to give it back to you. But you made it number one on the agenda. The vote doesn't mean anything. I think it meant a lot. That's a big recommendation. The zoning is up to interpretation. I don't think it even is anymore because you made it very clear. We have a lawyer on our side that's her specialty. And finally, the price of our homes will go down if you ban short-term rentals. That's also the case. Who's gonna wanna come here and buy? I have a duplex. I can't live in both places. So please be fair, listen to all of us. And that's why you get in these positions to represent us. Thank you very much. I appreciate my time here tonight.
There is definitely a long history of short-term rentals. When you start doing research of the area, there has been across all of the lakes here, all of Michigan really, but definitely specifically in this area, there's plenty of postcards around from the early 1900s of when people started renting out their properties. So this idea of short-term rental, STR, yes, that was made popular by Airbnb. The concept of renting out your home to have your own summer place, this is not new. This is old history. Older than any oldest person in this room by a long shot old history, okay? So when we hear this concept of this is new, it's not new, it's not new into the area. You have the Silver Saddle Resort right between Silver Lake and Saddle Lake. I mean, that's something that's super popular, very well documented in all sorts of newspaper articles. So just want to make sure that that's something that's considered, that it's part of the history of the area.
Anyone else? Okay, moving on, correspondence. Barb? Nothing? Township Board, comments?
I'd like to make a comment. Again, Gail, nothing against you guys. I just,
Sorry, Mary, I'm sorry, before you do that on correspondence, don't we need to, we did receive this today.
okay.
Do you
Well-
want that? I don't know if it's,
I think it'll go in next board meeting.
Okay.
I noted that we received it, but I didn't know if we should attach the actual letter, if it was like attorney.
We can address that next one. There's no hurry on that.
That's not attorney-client privilege.
So what I was saying is, it's nothing against that. It's the amount of money, and we have done as a board, since I've been on it, and before that, done everything we can to not raise taxes. I mean, that we have scrimped, scraped, done everything. And it's just, and I understand it's 56 parcels, but this is a financial burden, $950 plus. They just got that added drain. That's more than, there are some people will say, oh, they live on a lake, they can afford it. That's not always true. There's people on the lake that can't afford it. So I'm not coming against you. I just we've got to figure out a way to make that more affordable for everybody, in my opinion.
I would say,
I can't dialogue. I've just given my comment right now, but we can talk later.
okay,
I want to also say the transparency, everyone's mentioned the video. We don't have to do that. And I really appreciate the fact that Columbia Township videotapes every single meeting as best we can. Thank you, Kara. So we really do try to be as transparent as possible. And to me, the video is one, because I've want to watch other meetings at other townships and nobody's recording the meeting. So I'm glad that we do that. And thank you for doing that, Kara.
Speaking of the video, did not link to the meeting tonight. It is live on YouTube and I'm including the link in the meeting minute.
oh, good, thank you.
Gary?
No, Mary covered what I would say. Jason's covered what I would say. I said what I said, so I'm good.
Gary?
Jason.
Or, Jason?
Thank you for everyone being here. I did jot down just a note, on the North Lake thing. I'm sympathetic of the plight, and I do agree that $950 seems like a lot, but I'm also understanding that I suspect there's a minimum price tag to do some sort of treatment to a lake. And the fact that you're splitting it up between 56 people makes your job even tougher. I'm just, when it comes to the time of the public hearing and you're bringing all that data and we have to vote on it, I would just implore you to, speak to as many residents as you can and get the input and support that you need. Because I mean, if you just do like simple math, Saddle Lake's $299, you have a quarter of the residents. So 4 times that would be $1,200. So maybe proportionally $950 isn't a lot of what you're trying to accomplish, but it is a lot for one person to cough up. So you got a tough road ahead of you. So do your research. And I also just this is something maybe Kate, as the PC chair, you can verify with me after the meeting. But it was brought up that the planning commission was asked for a recommendation on the short-term rental issue. I don't think that's accurate to my recollection. I think it always said in the board, we knew a ban would require a police ordinance, I think what was asked is that the planning commission do the research, or you volunteered to do the research, and you presented that and then gave it back to the board. So I don't think it was ever specifically directed to the planning commission to make a recommendation on this issue. I could be wrong, but regardless, it's rests at the board level. So thank you all for being here tonight.
You got a comment, Clara?
I went to election training with the county yesterday. The election world is always changing, so the rule you read yesterday is different than today. But we are looking for election workers. The training's in July, so if you guys want to work with us on elections, we have one in August and November. That's it.
There was a recommendation by the planning commission to the township board. It was a vote of 2-2. So that did happen.
You want
It
to
didn't
speak to
approve
that?
anything.
We're not in public comment, so I don't know if I'm allowed to speak to that or
Right.
Clear it up next meeting.
not.
If I've offended anyone over on that side, I'm very sorry. My intent was not to do that. My intent was to ensure that what I was saying is that our existing ordinance doesn't allow it. And that our direction from that would be that we ban it. But if we ban it, we need to give a lot of time to reconcile that. However, the board here makes that decision, not the planning commission, not me as a planning commission member. We just make recommendations. And hopefully what it did is move this thing along where we had more conversations and understand where we're going. So there has been no decision. Understand? And if I offended you, I'm sorry. And with that, adjournment at 8:37.
Hey, how are you? How are you?